to Mehmet Ogutcu, who's chairman of the London Energy Club. He's also a former diplomat. He joins us now from Izmir in Turkey. Mehmet, welcome to the program. Let's talk about energy, natural resources in a moment. But first, can you give us an explanation about the relationship between Turkey and Azerbaijan? Because many people around the world, especially in Europe, in Western Europe, are saying that these two countries are too close together and Turkey shouldn't be involved in what's happening.
Why shouldn't Turkey be involved? Because whatever is happening in Nagorno-Karabakh, Azerbaijan or Armenia somehow influences Turkey in a great way. It's not only because of the great close ethnical, religious and cultural affinity between Turkey and Azerbaijan, but Turkey also has significant strategic interests in the Caspian and Caucasus, as does Russia, as does Iran, as does European Union countries or Minsk co-chairs. Therefore, I don't think that it is right to ask the question why Turkey is closely involved. However, Turkey and Azerbaijan, two brotherly nations, are collaborating quite closely in such a way that Turkey is not directly involved. Turkey is supporting Azerbaijan in every way it can, and it's only natural. And also, what we discussed and witnessed over the past week, ceasefire has not held in this dispute because it doesn't address the root causes of the problem. What is the root cause of the problem? The occupation of almost 20% of Azerbaijani territory by Armenia. Any nation with self-respect will not tolerate. Therefore, this is a humanitarian ceasefire. I believe that until Azerbaijani territories under occupation will be liberated, there will not be a permanent ceasefire. Neither Minsk process, which has been going for decades, nor Russia, which is calling for a quick resolution of the dispute, which it hasn't done so for the past 30 years, can stop this from happening. The key issue is confine the conflict to the territories occupied by Armenia and not allow it to spill over, because there is a great risk that in the region, this conflict, if it's not well managed, so far very well managed in my opinion by Baku, diplomatically especially, and militarily, it has the potential to expand into neighboring countries. Remember, in Iran, you have almost a third of the country's population being Azerbaijani. They are very indignant by the fact that Iran is supporting Armenia. And then also, of course, the Russians are very active in Armenia, protecting some of the borders with Turkey. Therefore, the conflict should be confined to where it should, in terms of legitimate interest of Azerbaijan in liberating its own territory from the occupying forces of Armenia.
Right,
the international community will have no objection to this.
The thing is, we know that this conflict is decades old, and Azerbaijan and Armenia, between them together, just those two nations don't seem to be able to come up with any sort of resolution. So presumably it will require some sort of external influence, some sort of mediation. What about the interests of the East and to the west of Azerbaijan in terms of its natural resources? These repeated accusations from Baku that Armenia has been attacking gas and oil pipelines. How many nations generally, or how does it affect the East and the West, Russia and Western Europe, that energy in Azerbaijan?
Well, first of all, I think Russia and Iran have every interest to prevent Azerbaijani hydrocarbon exports westward towards Turkey and then to European Union, because it is there, especially for Russia, it's their traditional dominant market, and they don't want Azeri oil or gas to disrupt that. However, in this particular case, I don't think that Armenia could challenge the energy infrastructure or try to destroy or undermine, simply because, not for the interest of Azerbaijan, but an international consortium has invested more than $40 billion in BTC, Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan oil pipeline, Southern Gas Corridor, Shah-Deniz 1 and 2, and also Baku-Süpsa pipeline. These are critical energy infrastructure that do not belong only to Azerbaijan. Therefore, if Armenia launched attack on them with the intention of destroying this energy infrastructure, I think it's going to be terribly isolated by the European countries, by the United States. And also remember the factor of Israel, which nobody mentions it quite clearly. Azerbaijani leadership is using its relationship with Israel in a very wise manner, because Israel is very active in Washington, D.C., as we know. And one of the reasons why the United States is relatively silent, not intervening on behalf of Armenia, despite the huge diaspora there, is because of the Israeli and Jewish lobby in Washington, D.C. And they have every interest for Azerbaijan to continue this energy flow, as well as its security intact, because Israel also sells. So if it's Turkey, number one ally for Azerbaijan, probably Israel could be termed as number two. That's a quite interesting diplomatic breakthrough.
Sure. Mehmet, thank you so much indeed. Certainly the BTC pipeline, just to explain to the viewers, I know about that one, which supplies gas from Azerbaijan through to Turkey and then on to other countries in Western Europe. Mehmet Ogutcu, Chairman of the London Energy Club, thank you.